In this series of videos, I'm going to show you how you can improve your training and your performance. Hey guys, I'm Leon from Stronger Tomorrow Training, and today we're going to go through some mobility drills. If you didn't know, static stretching is not the best way for you to be warming up for your exercise. Research has shown that static stretching actually reduces your power output, your force production, your movement speed, your reaction time, and your muscular endurance. Alright, so here's what you need to do instead. Mobility drills, also known as dynamic stretching. For dynamic stretching, you're using controlled movements around a range of motion. And for static stretching, you're holding a stretch in a position for a period of time. If you've been doing static stretching for your training, all you need to do to improve your performance is to start using mobility drills. With my trainees, we like to do our dynamic stretching after our foam rolling routine. If you want to learn how to use foam rolling in workouts, I have a video on this and I'll put the link in the description box below. And before we continue, here are some guidelines on stretching that you should take note of. Number 1, when we stretch, there's bound to be some discomfort, but we shouldn't be feeling any acute pain. Number 2, there needs to be a gradual increase in the range of motion for our stretches. And number 3, I like to cap my overall mobility drills under 10 minutes. This is because with my trainees, we have a limited time to train and we do not want to do too much stretching and not a lot of training.
So we're going to adopt a joint-by-joint approach where we stretch out the muscles surrounding the mobile joints of the shoulder, hip joint and thoracic spine. And here are some of the muscles involved. You can pause if you want to take a closer look. So let's start off with some stretches around the shoulder joints. First up, some bent half dislocations. You want to hold a wider than shoulder width grip. Make sure your arms have a soft lockout and you're going to bring your hands above and behind the head to stretch. This will stretch the muscles of your shoulder and pectorals. If you're more advanced, you can try out bend full dislocations. It's almost the same except you bring the bend all the way back and down. This will give you a fuller stretch of your shoulders and pectorals. Next up, we have side-to-side bends. For this movement, the position is the same. We keep the bend overhead and we bend our body from side to side. At the same time, you can push your hips out as you bend so that you get a greater stretch from your lats all the way down to your obliques and even your hips. Next up, we have the pulling lat stretch. Grab onto something, sit your hips back and try to keep your back as straight as possible. You can also bounce a few times at the bottom of the position to get a better stretch. You can also do this with one hand. Another option is to use a reverse grip and do the same thing, except now you're going to twist out to the side. You can also use a bend for this, as this gives you an even greater stretch as the bend allows for more movement. Next, we have the wall lat stretch. You're going to drive your elbows into the wall in an attempt to let your armpit touch the wall. Bouncing a few reps at the bottom will give you an even better stretch. And for the last stretch for the shoulder joint, with a toe touch of sunflower, this is the full body stretch. Reach down and touch your toes and reach up as high as you can with a slight arc. Then you can open up your hands and circle your arms as if you're a blooming flower. This gives you a great stretch in the hamstrings, core, chest and shoulders. Now let's move on for stretches around the thoracic spine. First up, we have a cat-cow stretch. You're going to get onto your palms and your knees. You will inhale and arc for the cow pose and exhale and round for the cat pose. Try to move with your spine and keep the arms straight so that the movement is in your spine. Next, we have the thoracic spine and hip twist. In a push-up position, you're going to put one leg in front and then you're going to twist upwards with your hand reaching up and keep looking at your hand. Next, we have stretches around the hip joints. First, we have a forward and backward kick to stretch out the hamstring. Make sure you are balanced against the wall and just swing your leg forwards and back, keeping the leg relaxed but straight. This will give you a good stretch at your hamstring at the top of the position. Next, we have the side to side kick. This will help stretch your glutes. Balance yourself against the wall, but face the wall this time. Swing your legs from side to side. Again, keep the legs relaxed but straight. You'll feel a stretch in your glutes to kick inwards. So with our tri stretch, it's a great stretch for your hips, hamstrings and your glutes. Put your leg on an elevated surface and just reach down towards your hips, your toes and your glutes. This gives you a great 3-in-1 stretch. As you're reaching for the outer part of your leg, you don't have to go too low, as most likely you'll lose your balance. Next, we have a hip stretch. Keep your leg on an elevated surface and face away from your leg. You should be perpendicular to your leg. You're going to try to reach down and reach back up. As you reach down, you should provide a good stretch for your hips. You can bend your other leg slightly. You do not have to keep that leg straight. You can also put your hands on your hips for balance. And for our last stretch, we got a seated lower back twist. Sit down, make sure your knees are bent, and you're going to twist your legs from side to side. As you twist, you will feel a stretch in your lower back. Keep the movement relaxed and fluid.
Thank you for catching the video, and I hope you guys learned something informative today. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, do help me by dropping a like and subscribing. I'll be doing my best to provide better fitness and training content for you guys. Thank you, and remember to train, hustle and grind.